Hello everyone, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to show you how to use your new TENS unit. So when you open up the case, you're going to find all these components wrapped up in there. I'll go over with you each one as we prepare for treatment. You're going to notice the unit itself will have a plastic slide cover. You're just going to pull that off like so, and you're going to see several dials and a ribbon here. The dials change the settings of the current, and I have preset them for you so that way you don't have to play with the settings. It'll be set up for to help you with what you're dealing with. There's one dial that you might want to play with, and that is the frequency of firing dial. This unit is designed so that it can give you up to 150 pulses of charge per second. It feels like a steady flow of tiny current. You can slow it down to as little as 2 pulses per second to give you tiny bursts of current. And those different frequencies have different effects on either relaxing muscle, reducing pain, and irritation. You can experiment with that, see which setting gives you the best results. Different results for different types of folks. Okay, I'm going to put it back onto the high frequency, which is 150 pulses per second. The other settings, I would just leave them alone. They don't have much, they don't make that much of a difference in the effect for you. When you place the 9-volt battery in the compartment, make sure you place it in above the ribbon, because that way when it's time to change the battery, you can just pull on the ribbon and it pops right out. So I'm going to do that now. This thing reminds me of my old transistor radio when I was a teenager way back in the late 60s and early 70s. We had these little 9-volt batteries. They're still around. And then you just put the cover, slide it back on to protect the control panel, and you're all set. There are 2 channels that work independently of one another, and each channel has its own volume switch. As you can see, those little tiny dials here, they both control how strong the current will be. I'm going to take one set of wires. Each kit will have 2 of these. I've already unwound one of them, and I'm going to insert it into one of the channels. So I'm just going to make sure you get it in all the way. You're going to hear a tiny click, and that'll tell you it's all the way in. And then on the other side, or the other end of the wire, you'll see 2 receptacles, little tiny cups into which the pins go. Each set of wires has pins at the terminal end, and you put 1 pin in each of the 2 receptacles that go to your electrodes. Now the electrodes are in a Ziploc sandwich bag. The Ziploc is very important. You want to keep that sealed at all times, because if you let air get to these electrodes over time, they'll dry out and they'll lose their adhesive qualities. And you need that stickiness in order for it to carry the current into your body. We're going to test that out on my forearm just to make sure it's working. So you have 2 electrodes for each wire, and we're all set. Now, when you turn on the unit, start very slowly, because you don't want to have a sudden surge of current, and it'll be too strong, and your muscles might contract, and you won't have control of your hand. So I'm just going to turn it on very gradually. You're going to hear a click. There you go. And then just very slowly start turning the dial. And I'm turning, and I'm waiting for this. Okay, all right. I'm beginning to feel a tingling sensation in my forearm, and it's actually traveling over the median nerve, which is our carpal tunnel nerve here. I can actually feel the current going into my thumb and first finger. If you have carpal tunnel syndrome, that's a good place to put your electrodes, because it's going now into my thumb. I can feel a gentle current, and I can make it as strong or as mild as I want. It's got plenty more power than I need, that's for sure. Right now, I'm comfortable at a setting of 3 out of 8. So there's plenty of reserve power in there, more than I would ever need. After a few minutes, it's going to start to feel weaker. That's only because your tolerance grows as the minutes go by. It works best in 15 to 20 minute intervals. That's all you need. I would try to do it at least once a day while you have symptoms. Also, it'll start to feel weaker as the battery weakens. Okay, and how much life you get out of the battery depends on how much you use it, the duration, and the intensity of the current. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to try the other channel just to make sure it's working. So we're going to take the plug out of the socket. I'm going to put it in the other plug. I'm going to put the plug in the other socket, just like that. There we go. And I'm going to turn the other dial very slowly, because I don't want to end up getting an involuntary contraction of my forearm muscles there. That'll drop this unit, and it will feel very uncomfortable, that's for sure. And we slowly turn, and there we go. I'm feeling the current. It's mild, it's gentle, and that's what you need for it to work. You just want to create a gentle sense of flow, and it will calm down the nerve endings in the painful areas so to give you some relief. It will also help to relax the muscles too. So if you have any muscle spasm, it's good for that. And there we go. So this baby is working just fine. The battery is strong. So we just finished the test. And again, you can put it right over the pain. Just follow the symptoms. If you have pain in the very back of the neck, put it around the very back of the neck. Try to have both pads just flood that zone, wherever it is. If it's, a lot of people get a pain over the tops of their shoulders, put them side by side, just like that, next to each other, and get it into the muscle there. Larger muscles are very responsive to the current. And then when you're done, we're just going to peel it off and put it back on the plastic sheets. See that there? Just put it back on the sheets because you can reuse it. They're good for several uses. I just put it right back on there, just like that. Disconnect the pins from the cups. And then you're going to put it back in the little baggie. Some cases have baggies of different, like this one's a smaller bag. This one's larger. It depends on the kit you get. But it's important you put it back in there. Do not let it sit out for very long in the air. Okay? And then seal the bag. Just like you got a sandwich in there, you want to seal the bag. Oh, come on, get in there, you little guy. Yeah, I just run my finger along there, seal that baby up. And that's it. You're good to go. If you want to learn about how the machine works and its effect on the body, there's a little technical manual inside each kit for you tech heads. You like to read about this stuff, have at it, knock yourself out. And that's about it. I'll be sending in the paperwork to the insurance company. They'll process the paperwork. They're going to send you supplies. They're going to send you more pads because these wear out over time, and you're going to need more pads over time. So you'll get a pouch in the mail or a box in the mail of more pads. In the meantime, to keep them fresh and to keep them sticky, what happens over time, after a few uses, they'll start to lose their adhesive qualities. And you can restore that by washing them in warm water with soap and then pat dry with a paper towel. Don't use a cloth towel. Don't use a Kleenex or toilet paper. Don't use that because they have lint. And once lint gets on there, dust or oils get on there, it's not sticky anymore. So pat it dry with a paper towel and then put it back in the bag. Keep it sealed. Keep it fresh. Just an administrative note, you eventually the insurance company will either mail you or on your insurance website you'll see the results of their payments to the supplier. The supplier needs to get paid for these devices and their supplies, and your insurance will pay a certain percentage of the bill. They might tell you that you're responsible for the 20% or 10% and that what the dollar amount is. And I want you to know that you will not be asked to pay for that percentage from the supplier. The insurance company will say, well, you owe this much to the supplier. Don't worry about it. They're not going to ask you for that money. This is totally no cost to you, courtesy of the office. If you have any questions, call me, or on your next visit, ask me. If you have any problems, questions, don't hesitate. All right, so thanks for watching. Good luck with the device. May you feel better with it. May it give you relief. And I'll see you next time at the office. Until then, take care.